So a bit of a problem at the moment. I've been working in the shop for a couple of days now. It's Thursday again, and I haven't actually done anything on the main bench yet. I haven't done any recordings this week, but I've sort of been looking at the setup, figuring out what to do, and I wanted to get all of my lab equipment set up. And basically, I'm running into exactly the same issue I had in the old shop. I was hoping that in the old shop, obviously, the far side of the desk was where customers would be standing, so I couldn't have stuff hanging over the back of the desk. Now that's not a problem, so I just assumed that I'd just be able to hang everything off the back of the desk. It wouldn't be an issue. But that's actually going to leave me with not really enough space, because a kitchen countertop is only about 650mm deep. So I thought, okay, well, what if I banked it up on the side there? But if I put stuff over here, like if we put that there, and we sort of bank stuff down the side, that gives me fairly limited space here. So you think, oh, okay, we'll move it further to the left. But if I do that, I'm going to impede on the space where I want to work on desktop towers. So I'm in a bit of an unwinnable situation here at the moment. And the issue is, like, a quick look online, I think I might have to invest £300 or £400 in like a proper professional workbench. But it's just finding the right one. The other option, which I think I'm going to try, is I'm going to try moving the PC and everything around to the back. So both the monitors are just along the back instead. That would mean I can put all of the lab equipment down the right-hand side. So then all of this stuff just basically hangs off the side here. And that way it's accessible, but it's no longer in the way, and I won't have something in the middle here. So I think that's going to work. So I'm going to try moving all of this around, and we'll see what happens there. So yeah, I'm not really sure what to do here yet, but I did anticipate that this might happen. This is exactly why I didn't go mad with all the cable tied in, because I knew that there was a very good chance that I was going to have to move stuff about. See, I think this is working better now. Move that round to the back. Like, the monitor is currently standing on top of the PC. Not ideal. I need a more permanent solution to that. I need a couple of arm mounts so I can just clamp those to the back of the counter, and then the monitors can just float off the back of the counter, because there's another monitor that needs to go up somewhere as well. No idea how that's going to work yet, but as I say, if I get some arms, then they can float and the problem goes away. So now with these guys over here, they are more or less accessible. Like, not super thrilled about that. That's slightly awkward to get to, but I don't use the bench power supply that often, so I'm sure I can survive. But you know, the hot air is now instantly accessible, which is nice. And we've still got all the counter space. I've put the camera and mic in the middles, because that means that this can now swing over here and reach this side of the bench as well. The microphone, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I've just bought this stand, because previously the microphone was on a little tripod stand. This one is, I'm trying to figure out where to put it where it's not in the way. I think I'll just have to experiment with that. So that's still liable to move around. What I might try... See, the problem is, what would be ideal is if I could just invert this, turn it over so it hangs down instead. But the issue is I'm going to spend most of my time face down toward the counter, which means if I have the microphone high up, then I'm going to be speaking away from the microphone, which is bad for audio. So I kind of need to have it in a low position, so it's kind of pointing at my mouth. So that still needs some figuring out, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that yet, but I'll figure that out as I go. Either way, I'm feeling a lot better about this than I was yesterday. I think we might be able to get something that works here after all. But yeah, it's going to need more fiddling. It's Friday night, and what do I want to do the most on Friday night? Carry on unpacking stuff from the old shop. So, this place is just a tip now. It's a bomb site. It's a shadow of its former self. Well, no, really, we've just revealed what was always here. Half of this stuff was like a lot of this stuff along the back. That's not stuff I've put there. That was always there, just under the counter. I've just lifted the counter away from around it. I was an expert at hiding the amount of rubbish in this place. It's pretty horrifying. There's still lots out the back, but it's mostly e-waste. Still got to move the CCTV system. But yeah, another point of interest. I've often had people ask, what compressor do I have? What air compressor do I use? That one. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what this is. Top marks, it's just come out from under one of the shelving units in the back room, and yeah, it's this guy hasn't seen any love in a long time. But it charges to about sort of 5 or 6 bar. That's adjustable, but yeah, that's where it goes to. There's an adjustment screw somewhere on that to set it. Then there's the output hose. There's the end, and the fitting is somewhere on the floor over there. I'll grab that in a moment. Then there's also an outlet hose down there for draining the tank. It should be drained regularly because there'll be water at the bottom of the tank that's come out of the air. Because obviously you compress the air, the water drops out. That hasn't been done in an eternity. Oh, that's in a bad way. Yeah, I don't know if this thing is actually serviceable, but we'll clear all of that out. Looks like this cover comes off, so I'll probably get this back to the new shop, take this cover off. Actually, I should do that here, really. Well, let's see if we can vice up the camera. I've never taken this cover off. I've never let it get this bad to the point where I've actually had to take the cover off. Normally I just get a paintbrush or something and just brush the dust down, but yeah, this guy's been buried for a long time with just the hose sticking out from under the shelving. And you know, you just pick up the hose pipe every day. Right, how's that? There's another one somewhere, down the bottom. So, yeah, so this compressor, it used to be part of a refrigeration system. It's got a General Electric sticker on the side of this motor. But yeah, it used to be part of a refrigeration system in McDonald's, of all places. Way back when, my dad used to be a caretaker, maintenance guy, I don't know. He worked for McDonald's, and I believe he was doing maintenance or looking after some of the machines there or something like that. I have no idea. I was too young to remember. Ooh. Oh, that's exciting. We'll have a closer look at this in a sec. Oh, that's rad. Oh, I'll show you a close-up of this in a moment. Where was I? So yeah, and just at some point, this thing got retired from McDonald's, and my dad brought it home, and he put it in his garden shed, which was nicknamed the motorcycle shed, because my dad was into classic motorcycles, aerials to be exact. So yeah, he had it down there for cleaning parts and that kind of thing. When I started my shop, I knew I wanted an air compressor because the previous shop I'd been working in, we just used cans of compressed air. And as anyone who does this for a living knows, compressed air cans suck, basically. They're good for a couple of uses, and even then, they're not very powerful. It's kind of just the best of a bad situation. And anyone who works on computers professionally will go through an obnoxious number of cans. It's not exactly very economical nor ecological. So when I started my shop, I said to my dad, who, you know, he was interested in classic motorbikes, but I very rarely saw him actually working on them. It was mostly just one of those things he had out in the shed as a, you know, rainy day project. Except, you know, the rainy days came and went. I digress. I love my dad and I support him. Anyway, so I started my shop and I said, Dad, can I have your air compressor? And he was just like, that's my air compressor. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't use it. And he's like, okay. So that's where I got this thing from. Thankfully, I've never had to replace it. Unfortunately, the spray nozzle, the nozzle I use leaks like a bath without a plug. I'll see if I can give you guys a close-up of this because, so let's see, am I on shot? Yeah, here's the nozzle. That fit is all push fit, like that. However, it leaks, which you may be able to hear. And that is this nozzle that's leaking, because if I remove this, the leak stops. And like if you jiggle this, it may stop. But I've tried lubricating it and it doesn't do anything. If anyone knows the name of these barbs, of these push fittings, I would love to know, because I want to get a new one of these, but this is archaic. This is probably Imperial or whatever. I don't know. Either way, I would love to get a new one of these, but I have no idea what the name or size of this fitting that I'm looking for is in order to fit these same barbs. And I don't really want to replace the hose, but yeah. Anyway, that's that. Actually, we'll put that on. We'll put that back on in a sec. Right, let me show you the pump, because this is cool. I've never seen this before. Ugh. So here it is with the thing removed. And as you can see, it's got a little fan to pull in air, and you can actually see the pump there. So there's the motor spindle. So that's direct drive. That's direct drive out to this shaft, and it's got a piston cam there that's pushing into there. So I believe this is the intake somehow. No, that's the intake, and it's going in through there. I don't know what this is. So yeah, that's going in there. Obviously, the back of the piston has some kind of valve on it, maybe. Or maybe that is the air intake, and this is just cooling for the motor. That would make sense. That must be the air intake. Although I don't see how, because this is like plastic or something. I don't know. I legitimately have no idea. Anyway, that then gets compressed into the high pressure hose, which goes into the tank. And that's it. But yeah, that's kind of cool. I've never seen that bit before. That's pretty cool. I like it. It's in terrible condition, as you can see. Bit of a sad fate, really, but interesting. Because we don't really care about dust in here at this point. Oh, deep breaths, everyone. That's out of there. Oof. That'll do. I'll wipe it down properly when I get it back to the new shop. Now I need to try not to breathe in too much. Or rather, I'll breathe in through my sleeve. Actually, I'll get my mask out. There you go, that'll do for now. Everyone complains about the dust in here. Or like when I dust off parts on videos. They're like, the dead skin cells, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Go and get dirty hands, people. You'll be alright. I mean, don't get me wrong, don't exactly take a gulp of air or anything, you know, but come on. Oh no, there's so much water in it. Oh God, it's full of just, oh no. Oh no. There's a lot of water coming out of it. I've just had to turn the valve off. Oh boy. Well, I've taken about a litre of water out the bottom of the tank now. It was not very happy at all. I think there's still a lot of sludge at the bottom of the tank because the drain valve was actually blocking up with stuff. I don't know what. Probably just rust and gunk. So yeah, it wasn't a very happy chappy. I'm a little bit sad about having neglected this thing. Not because it's particularly exotic, but, you know, just because, yeah, don't neglect your tools, people, you know. But anyway, having taken that much water out of it, it should hold a significant amount more air now, so that should be good as well. That means longer run time between recharging and stuff like that, which is always nice. I'm a bit concerned that the pump is worn down because after running it for quite a while, it seemed to be having difficulty getting pressure up. It was the gauge was going up to about 80 psi or so, and then it was just holding at that pressure without actually cutting off. But I switched it off and left the pump to cool down because the actual pump head was hot to the touch. So I think it was just overheating. And after I let it cool down, then switched it back on and it carried on charging and then cut out at its maximum point. So it seems to be okay now, but I think this thing is definitely a bit worse for wear. But yeah, at any rate, it's working, it's here. I think this guy's probably going to live out in the kitchen of all places because I had envisioned that I might get some kind of extraction system for dust, but I have no idea what the plan for that is at this point. And I think any such extraction system is probably going to be very, very expensive. And what I could also do is just put the compressor near the back door and walk out the back door whenever I want to dust something out. So yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit this guy in the kitchen and I'll just carry stuff out the back door, dust it off outside, bring it back in. But yeah, on the flip side though, the hose is quite nice and long. So if it's only just small items, like this morning, I just wanted to dust out this iMac here, which I've just put an SSD in. That's one of the main reasons why I wanted to get it in here tonight. I didn't need to take that outside. There wasn't that much in there. It's fine, So yeah, it reaches. So yeah, that's the air compressor. So I've now got the main front sign hung in the window, and I've done an amateur job of cleaning the window as well. And my God, cleaning the window made the world of difference. I knew it was filthy, but it's amazing how much of a difference it makes once it's actually clean again. So we've now got a nice clear windowsill. So I need to get some more display stuff in this windowsill, and possibly again I may move a table or get a countertop along there. But I want to get a demo PC set up there, because people will see the Macs, and the Macs look cool, and the Macs make people stop and look, but they also make people think that I only do Macs. So I need like some PCs in there at the same time as well. So that's the front window. That's starting to come together. This sign, I do want to replace it at some point. It's not supposed to be forever. I just haven't decided on exactly what I'm going to replace it with yet. So that's going to be the delay. But at least there's a nice hung sign, so it actually looks almost professional. I've also started fettling the wiring around the YouTube bench. So I've got some rubber strips now to cover the trailing wires. So I can now walk around here without having to step over wires. I can just tread on these, which is nice. I still don't know that this is the permanent long-term position for everything, but it's working for now. This layout seems to work quite well. I've done 2 attempts at videos with this layout now. I did one last weekend and I felt really uncomfortable and it wasn't gelling at all. However, I've now moved the microphone stand over to there so it leans in a bit more and the microphone's a lot less in the way now. And with the monitors like that, I think this is working for me now. The only issue is just, tools are not at quick glance. My tools are still over there, so I need to figure out what I'm doing there. But this feels like it's working. And in which case, what I will then do is I'll buy a double monitor arm mount that clamps to the back of this counter and holds those monitors in place. So then we don't need the bookcases and the boxes and stuff like that to hold it all up. But I'm not going to commit to that until I'm certain that this is all good. But so far, I'm liking this layout. I think this is working. So all I need to do is just, professionalize it. Okay, it's been some weeks or maybe even a month or 2 since I last recorded anything for these behind the scenes videos. And the main reason for that is not a lot has been happening, to be honest. I've just been in the shop working on these 2 benches. That's it. That's what I've been doing. And the other thing is, just everything kind of stopped because I'm waiting for countertops and stuff like that. The counters are arriving on Friday. So then I can start recording that. I'll probably do a whole video about that, the countertops. And also, although they're arriving on Friday, I might not be able to build them this weekend. I need some power tools or something, because I got my old jigsaw out and I looked at the blade on it. I'm like, that's not going to go through the countertops. So I need to see if I can find some kind of long blade for a jigsaw. Otherwise, I'm going to need another way of cutting a countertop in half. But another problem for the next video. However, tonight I want to sort out the desk. So switching cameras. So the desk, I've been tinkering with the layout on the desk over the past month or so, and I'm generally happy with what I've got here at the moment. I've got space up this end. I've got the main workspace. I've got all the tools out, and they're all up on the bench, which was what I originally wanted for them. And we've got the dual screen setup back. It's all hunky-dory. But there's 2 issues at the moment. Is A, I don't like the way that everything is just stacked up on boxes. Not really ideal. And B, I want the back of the counter to be free so I can have a second person stand on this side of the counter. They can stand here or so and be able to work here, so we can both work on a computer together. Because I actually have a project coming up that will involve that exact requirement. Okay, this should work. Recording on the laptop. No idea how good the audio is going to be for this, so we're just going to fly blind and hope for the best. If the audio is echoey and boomy, that's going to suck. However, it's an interesting experiment because also I need to experiment with audio in this room as well. It's echoey in here because we've got a tiled floor and bare walls. And, obviously a lot of people are going to be like, oh, put sound deadening on the walls and stuff like that. It's quite a lot of walls to cover. I do actually have some sound deadening in the works. However, I'm not sure how best to use it yet. And recently, I've switched over to using this Rode Wireless Go microphone. Unfortunately, my laptop doesn't have a microphone input, so I can't use the Rode for this bit. And because the Rode is a lapel mic, I can run that on much lower gain, and it just kills the echo problem entirely. So the echo in the room isn't something that I'm in a desperate hurry to solve, but at the same time, it would be really nice to know how well this comes out, because it lets me know if I can still use a room mic like this setup. So a room mic being just a microphone that's set up to hear anyone standing in the room, and have it be not awful. Like, this isn't going to be great, but if it's usable, then that's interesting. Anyway, let's get this thing out of the way. The laptop that I thought was dead, but isn't. Anyway, I'll put that down here for now. Okay, so the bench is still set up from the podcast, so the camera's facing forward. Okay, so really, I need to shut this down. I need to move the computer out of the way. I think it might go down the right-hand side again. But the problem is if I put the computer down this side of the counter down here, it'll be out of my way, but it'll be a long cable run down the back. So not sure how well that's going to work out. Excuse me, I've just had dinner, and so I might keep hiccuping because dinner. Anyway, so for now, I'll just get it out of the way so we can work on where we're going to position these monitors. I don't even know if this is going to work, but it's one of those things where the only way to find out is to try, basically. So let's try this. I'm also really interested to know how well this camera angle works out, because I could also have this camera on that key light facing down the desk here, and it gives a much wider shot, which I kind of like, but that's a discussion for another time. I think people like the wide shots where you can see the desk. But yeah, by the time this is a tiny little square in the top left of the picture, it might not be worth anything. Whatever. Anyway, another time. So let's shut down the computer. And we're going to move everything around and see what works. I may end up putting pegboard on at least one of the walls, which I don't really want to do. Well, I'm trying to avoid doing all of the, stereotypical YouTuber stuff. And I'm trying to do practical stuff based on not what other people are doing or what people think looks cool, but just simply what I actually need. However, the fact remains is what I need is a pegboard on the wall so I can hang stuff off of it. So, yeah. So we'll probably be doing that. Again, that's going to happen when I actually figure out the final layout, because the other thing as well is I'm still having second thoughts about having this table here at all. But even after doing everything that I'm doing now, the actual positioning of this entire table is still flexible. I can still move this entire shooting match around the room to basically anywhere. And I want to try and keep that freedom for as long as possible. So at any given time, if I suddenly realize I need this to be somewhere else, I can still move it. So it's one of the reasons why I don't really want to have any kind of elaborate things standing around it, and also why I don't want the monitor standing on boxes and stuff like that, because I want everything to be effectively attached to the bench, so the bench is free to be wherever I want. Because that means that later on I could move it up that way or down that way and so on. Ooh. So this is a Huano full motion desk mount. It was a cheap Amazon job. I think I paid about £50 for this one. There were some cheaper options available for dual monitor mounts with gas struts on them. However, I bought this one because it has 2 clamps on it. And because I knew there was a possibility that I was going to have one or more of these arms hanging out at full extension while the other one was not at full extension, the whole rig is likely to be very off balance. So I saw this one had 2 clamps on it, and I wanted to go for that because I know it's going to have better stability. Okay, right, we'll set this, so that's going to go over there. Oh, what he's doing, nice moment. Anyway, so now, these boys can swing around like that. So one of the nice things about these ones is they've got open holes at the top, so you can kind of put 2 screws into the monitor and then just hang it like so. So it's nice and quick and easy just to put it on there and just get a rough idea on what you're dealing with, and then you can screw it in properly. So I'm just going to hang both monitors on there for now, and I can work out the positioning, and then I can actually secure them. This monitor, I want to be as far over to the right as possible because obviously I want to maximize space here. So I want this monitor to be as far over here as possible. And that's not the end of the world, actually, to be honest. I can lose an inch off the bottom of that screen and not really care. The other thing as well is that now we're up on arm mounts, the monitors are significantly higher up. And this is one of the big advantages of using arm mounts is you raise the monitors up, which not only is good for posture because you're not looking down at your screen, but it means you've got all of this space under the screen, which is incredibly helpful. So if I'm sitting here, oh yeah, that's really not a big deal. That's really not a big deal losing that little bit there. I could even just move, I could shuffle this stuff further forward and get that back. Can I go any further back here? So in order to get the monitor to move backwards, I have to twist it. And we move a little bit further to the right, but that more or less reclaims the lost space. Yeah, I can now see all 4 corners of that screen, no problem. Okay, so now what would that do with this? Right, we're at quite an extreme angle here. And I don't think we can swing this one back far enough to meet the edge of this. Oh, that's working better, yeah. If I let this one move a bit further to the right, so if I move these guys forward, that recovers that space, and I can actually just swing that into the corner more. There, and that's allowed me to bank them. Oh, that's much nicer. That's much more pleasant. Cool. Okay, right, and that's done. So there's quite a cluster of stuff over in this corner, but that's okay. I'm allowed to have stuff up on the counter there. I've got everything that I want within arm's reach, which is the point, instead of having to reach somewhere to get it. And I can fiddle with that as we go. So not super thrilled about the amount of jumble over there, but that's okay. So we've got these arm-mounted monitors now. I've got all of this space under the screens as I did before. So I've retained the space under the screens. The screens are higher up. I've got the Samsung up there, and I've got that set up as a room mic. It's muted at the moment, but I've done an audio test to see how viable it is to have that recording as a backup microphone. So if if the Rode Wireless Go has problems, or I've forgotten to switch it on, or something stupid like that, there's an emergency backup microphone in place. And also I'm hoping that if it gets half decent audio, I can use it for when I've got 2 people in the shop. Because I'm not ready to invest in a second wireless lapel mic yet for the once every 6 months when I have a second person here. I wish I'd bought the more expensive Rode Wireless Go that had 2 transmitters, but that's neither here nor there now. But yeah, so again, this camera is, when I'm sitting here, it's kind of in the way of that screen, but there's not really a lot I can do about it. But, I can look around it. It's really not a big deal. I can live with that. It might end up getting moved. We'll see. I'll have to test this setup and see how well it works. But it looks a lot nicer. So now, if I come around the back, here, as you can see, I just did a very rough job of just screwing that four-way onto the back of the counter. That's probably not permanent. I've just put that there for now because the important thing is that it gets it off the ground. And that means that I can come and stand here now, and I can put my feet up against here, and I'm not kicking it. There's nothing to kick down there. So, yeah. So that's the main objective there. It doesn't look pretty being there, but the point is that someone can now stand here and not be kicking it. So, yeah, I'm kind of okay with this. I think a primary objective is achieved. We've got rid of all of the boxes and stuff that are here. And the monitors are now even, and it looks like a more pro setup. Spaghetti, etc., whatever. Over time, we'll get it sorted out. But yeah, I'm kind of happy with this. Obviously, again, if I'm doing two people, one on each side of the counter, the lights can move around. That's the reason why I wanted these lights on tripods, because you can move them around. So yeah, that's cool. So yeah, that's it. Op success. So, last thing I want to talk about for just stuff that's coming up is wood for the counters is coming on Friday. It is currently Wednesday, so that's exciting. And also, so the next video is going to have probably countertops in it. Then the video after that, lights. So the bulbs are just dying left, right, and center. We're losing lights in here. Literally only half the lights in this room work. It's really dim in here. I don't like it. So yeah, luckily we're coming up to summer, so it's not a big deal. But like if we were just going into winter, this would suck, man. It's really dim in here. Because like just bulb out, bulb, 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 bulb. Let's go around the back. Let's see, bulb, bulb. You get the point. Half the lights don't work, man. I've been speaking to a friend. He's quoted me for fitting some nice LED panels. So we're going to replace all of these. We're going to replace them with big 30-watt LED panels. It's going to be amazing. So we'll do the full video of that. I'll go into all the details there, but that's coming up. Right, so past that, we're done for this video. I'm going to just edit together what I've got and throw this up. And once again, thank you very much for... I should have stood under the studio lights, whatever. Thanks again for tuning in and watching these videos. And if you're seeing this video early, then thank you very much for your support. Once again, your support is making all of this possible. Yeah, while we're not there yet, it's still not quite the vision. We're getting there, though. That's the thing. We're getting there. It's probably I'm expecting this to take 6 months. That's how long I'm expecting all of this to take. Because these things take time. Especially, well, I mean, like, if I had closed the shop, then we could have done it faster. However, I'm not closing the shop. I'm still doing repairs during the day. And also, if I'd closed the shop, I'm not sure how well it would have worked out because I can't test any of this. All of this setup, this is getting tested in real time as we do it. Tomorrow, I'll do a repair there, and I'll probably start moving the monitors about and things like that and going, oh, that doesn't actually work in practice. We'll move that about and so on. So, yeah. Thanks, everyone. It's being a journey still, but there's more content coming up. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!